Hi, love. Hello, and welcome to Co-Creative Healing Journey. My name is Greta. I am a healer, and today I am bringing through soul messages. So, here on the channel, I am facilitating one long, ongoing healing process where I bring through messages from Spirit here on YouTube, and then over at my Patreon, there is the healing work, the energy work that is going to help you if you feel called to it, if you feel drawn to it, if this is your season of healing, then that work is there to help you and to serve you. So, here and now, this is going to be part one of two, where I'm going to start and I'm going to be bringing through messages over a long theme. So, two videos to make it right. So, it's a longer message broken down in two, but each video should be viewable in its entirety, right? One holistic message, but still one part of two. And so today we are talking about expansion. We are starting the new journey, the new step in our journey, which is expansion that we're going to be working on for the next 3 weeks. So today is the first week of expansion, and it is also the part one of two, and the energy work for expansion will be out in the Patreon shortly or already. I don't know. I'm filming it out of steps, so it's one of those two. But definitely check out the energy work for it. So let's look and see what Spirit wants to mention, what Spirit wants to talk about in this video, how Spirit wants to talk about expansion. This is the Return of Spirit deck. And I got my first inkling there when I was like, expansion. And x is actually a variable. The x, when we use it in mathematics, it's a variable. So there's a notion of variability. Something is changing within expansion. But with that hesitation and the need to center, there's something about misknowing, not being able to figure out the variable or not being able to fully enter into it. So we're going to see how it shows up. So we've got 5 cards actually, and they're upside down. So more of that. It's not a direct message. We've got simplicity. We have got music. Music. Right order. Beautiful. Beautiful. Vibrational. And integrity. Okay, listen. So, expansion. Part 1, simplicity. There is a simplifying dynamic. All of these cards that I just drew, before I get more into the details, all of these cards that I just drew are talking about one singular dynamic unfolding in your life at this time that is one of expansion. It is a singular dynamic that has been built over time, and very often that's when we're doing a lot of energy work. We're working on ourselves, we're taking the time, we're stepping back, what this simplicity card is talking about. So let's get right to it. When we really are diving into what is good for us and prioritizing that, especially. So you can look back on your life for the last couple of weeks, months, years. Where have you been prioritizing you? Where have you been putting your energy, your focus, your time, your resources, your availability? Where have you been putting that into growing, evolving, developing, nurturing, sustaining, loving you? And wherever that is, you're about to see a lot of expansion in that area, in those areas. And very often, there is a kind of chain reaction of growth and evolution, in the sense that when we heal the self, we can heal with others to then heal the world. That's how I put it, for example. But it's, we heal the self and then we evolve our work. We heal the self and then we evolve our finances. We evolve our relationships. We evolve our health, our physical health, and so on, by healing our inner health, for example, or dealing with our emotions, our mentality, and then our physical health improves. It's those kinds of things. There's somewhere where you've been putting so much, not just energy and time, resources, those things I was talking about, but there's a kind of passion to it. There's a goodwill. There's a strength of focus and just willing yourself to heal and to grow and to evolve, and really willing yourself to bring all of those external dynamics and focus and time and all of that energy, putting it back into you. And it's the power of that desire that you brought back into yourself that is going to be manifested in the dynamic that is now moving things forward. With music here, and especially the depiction of music, we see two hearts that are connected. So this is really talking about how um, this really came from your heart. And for some of you, I got almost waylaid because instantly Spirit was saying it's like a confirmation that you've been coming from a place of love, a place of goodwill towards yourself. And it's important to value that. And it's important to acknowledge that, because very often when we get from other people is a lot of disharmony, a lot of challenge, stress, strain, power games, and all of those things where people try to hold us back to the version that they knew of us, where people don't allow us to expand and to grow and evolve because they themselves are not growing and evolving, they themselves are not expanding, and so it creates some form of disharmony. And the pattern is to clamp down, to hold back, to stay in the status quo, in what is known, what is familiar, what is habitual. And so you've been in that disharmony for a long time, but what you're going to experience, what this expansion is really going to feel like, is an expansion into a greater sense of harmony, where you're right with the energy. And so what that is like when you were doing all this work, you're focusing on yourself, investing, like we've been talking about, you were meeting back disharmony because it didn't fit with your environment, with your relationships, with the people around you. I'm just getting such a sense of difficulty. It's difficult to put out this message. It's difficult to be in this energy. It's difficult to hold this space. And there's like almost like a restlessness, but also a wrestling with the environment, with other people, having to explain yourself over and over and over again, doubting yourself over and over and over again. So the struggle within, but also without. And again, that sense of disharmony. But fundamentally, on the inside there was also always harmony, because you were being in alignment with your soul, you were in alignment with the energy, which is what harmony really is to me. When we're right with the energy, we are right with what needs to be happening. And you had that at a most fundamental level. You have this feeling that you were walking in truth, in alignment with yourself, with your truth. And that's what sustained you. That's what gave you the strength to keep going and to be able to do this work and to become who you are now today. And you're in the process now where, especially these two cards taken together, right order, things are now moving on the external front, externally, in different realms, beyond the self, because sometimes it is also work that you did externally, like in conversation, communication, right? You worked in your communication, but it was still work related to you. It's coming back to you now in the environment with other people, so that you are now going to be in right order in general, not just right with yourself, doing what's right for you, but there's going to be this shift. And I keep seeing it like almost like when you see those movies, like what is it called, Inception, or the movie, the Marvel movie with the the white savior, yeah. um the Doctor Strange, there you go. But you just have this shift when they just show buildings that move, things that are thought to be stable, things that are thought to be fixed, where through the power of, well, it's perceived as the mind, but the power of of energy of the self, you can move and shift reality, even that seems tangible. So I'm just seeing like tick, 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 and all of these little moving pieces, like you would see here. There's a square here, there's a shape here, there's there, and all of it is part of the circle. It's part of the wholeness of you. But all of these different elements are going to be shifting and rearranging and realigning so that they are in right order with you, as it should be. When we say as above, so below, as within, so without, it's a principle that I called accordance, so that the primary cause accords reality. And so the primary cause is the self. I am. And what I am causes my reality to move in accordance with who I am. And this is a principle that's mostly lost in the lower realms, and in how we have chosen to exist and to live and to build our systems and to teach each other and teach children how to grow and evolve and so on. So that's a principle that's lost, and we have to remember, and we have to excavate, we have to bring it back. And the inner work that we do is very much about reestablishing the primacy of that principle. As within, so without, as above, so below. The spiritual energy leads the earthly reality. The inner truth manifests in a reality, an external reality, in accordance with that inner truth. And so that's the right order. It could say accordance here. In this instance, it's very much this energy that comes out. But right order is actually also a card of cleaning up. It's a card of cleaning up your environment, like literally cleaning your room. And here it's coming through with this energy of cleaning up your life. Anything and everything that is out of alignment with the truth of who you are is getting cleaned out, is getting cleared out so that it fits in accordance with that inner I am. At a fundamental level, this is Pluto energy, and we just had Pluto shift into Aquarius, going back and forth and doing a very interesting journey throughout 2024, actually, in the miracle degrees, which I love and find so interesting. So if that speaks to you in terms of astrology, there is that huge collective energy that is feeding into it, but it's feeding into what you yourself have already sown. You've already sown as within, you've already sown as above, and now it's going to be manifesting as without and as below, right? It's time. And so, vibrational. It's all about the vibes, baby. Or rather, it's all about the energy. And I love this because this is a card that actually talks about you being a vibrational powerhouse and having the ability to align things in accordance with your energy and having a tremendous degree of influence also over other people, dynamics, things in your life, situations, circumstances, having a tremendous amount of influence, of impact from an energetic space. And that's fundamentally what it is. It's going to be about energy. And our energy is a lot of things. It's really everything. Even what is fixed, what is material is energy. But here in this instance, Spirit is talking about your own energy, your own alignment, your own relationship to yourself, your spiritual soul, spiritual soul, human energy, including the physical, all of those being aligned and all of those being able to work together in order to co-create what is coming next. And there's a little warning linked with this because I was actually just watching listening to a reading in the background as I was getting ready, and she said something about focusing in the mind, and something is coming, and you have to focus in the mind because everything begins in the mind. And so I thought, no, everything is source, everything is the unity and the oneness which exists beyond the mind. And of course it could just be semantics and belief systems, right? But then the message that I have to share for you is that Spirit is saying, be careful of how you are conceptualizing this. It's precisely what is in your mind. It's very trendy. We have vibrational here. It's very much in the trends of how we talk about energy and spiritual growth and evolution to go into a narrow perspective that is very much about the thoughts, that is very much about the emotions, and to do work at that level primarily, which is a psychological level. And that's very important, but that's not how we manifest everything. It's just a little part of it. And so Spirit is telling you that over this time and through the expansion, there's going to be a highlighting of different kinds of energy. So yes, your thoughts matter and your emotions matter, but another form of energy is agency, our approach, how we do things, and the outcomes that we engage with. Situating is a thing. It's an energetic thing. We have a way of situating in what is happening around us. That is also a form of vibration, and that also matters. Then we have the heart. We have our values, our intentions, what is important to us, and of course the higher mind, the principles that we apply and that we recognize in what is going on in our lives. And then we have spiritual energy beyond that, which is the inspirations and aspirations, and also the inherent spiritual attributes of our being. And so all of that is part of what to work and what to consider in order to get you where you need to go. You got to have your energy clear, and however you're going about it, you're not going to be able to fully align if you have too small, too limited, too restrictive a perspective on what working your energy is. Your diet, your rest, your exercise, again, your visions, your aspirations, your inspirations for life are as much a part of your alignment and your energy and working your energy, your values. What are you valuing? What are you intending for yourself? That is as much part of the work you need to do as your thoughts and your emotions. It's all important, basically, which is also what integrity talks about. That was the last card I picked for the first round. And integrity is the kind of counterpart to this energy where integrity is talking about the need to be aligned in your alignment, right? So your thoughts need to be aligned with your values. Your approach need to be aligned with your thoughts and your values. So you cannot have one form of principle. This is how this works in general. This is how I conceive of this situation working in general. Then I have these intentions in this situation. Then I have those values, and then I have these thoughts, and then I have some other feelings, and then trying to work all of that together in order to navigate. That's not a recipe for expansion. It's a recipe for stagnation, actually, and it's a recipe for not even repetition of the old, but it's more a recipe for just not moving because you're getting pulled in so many different directions, which is also the energy of the Five of Wands, for example, in the tarot. So many different energies, so many different intentions, and it's like those energies start struggling with themselves in order to win out. And so there's that inner struggle, but it can also be mirrored in accordance outwardly. Lots of different demands on our time, lots of different demands on our attention, lots of different demands, period, right? And then we get caught up in all of those instead of seeking integrity and the way to unify everything so that we can then move forward. And that's the Six of Wands in this instance. Six of Wands being the victory, but Six of Wands is a very personal victory. It's when we get those intentions aligned, those values aligned, when we get our energy in the I'm getting so many different, yeah, that kind of energy, so many different things. I'm getting like all our ducks in a row and all things lined up, so different kinds of expressions coming in. But fundamentally at the core of it, there's going to be one energy, there's going to be one way of being really true to you. So that's the big mission within the expansion, within what is going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks, especially in a very intense way where there's like an opening of these dynamics. The work is going to be very, very much about focusing on staying in your integrity so that you can stay in the alignment and live out the truth of you, so that you on the inside are embodying and living out the truth of you and therefore manifesting it outwardly in accordance. So, that being said, Spirit wants to give you some advice. Back to our trusty deck. Recognition. You really, really have done well. You really are doing well. And you really have been on point in what you've been pursuing because, again, it comes from your heart. So this is also a time for you to recognize that. Recognizing that you've been really coming at it from the truth and the core of you, and then navigating it accordingly. You just have to have that kind of as the basis at the foundation. You've not been silly. You've not been a pointless. You've not been a loser. You've not been lazy. You've not been a perfectionist. You've not been, anything and everything across the spectrum. You've been following what was true for you, and now you're in a space where there's going to be expansion happening to mirror that back to you. This is really hard to say. It's not solid ground. Expansion is not solid ground. Expansion is not where you go in and you're going to say everything that you want to say the way that you want to say it, where you are looking the way you want to look, where you are approaching and doing everything in exactly the right way. It just needs to be aligned. And that's the thing. What's aligned isn't always what seems right in a large objective sense, but it is what is the truth of us reflected and experienced in this moment. So when that's the truth of us here and now, as I see it, as I experience it, as I am in this moment, and I move along with that, that is alignment. That is integrity. So back to the advice Spirit wants to give you. We've got confidence. That came up in a reading. And we've got return of spirit. Love it. I will read you this because it's just too perfect. So this is going to be advice. That's going to be an outcome. And takeaway. So we've got confidence advice. You have to be confident in you, and you have to know that you have done so much work on yourself, and more than that, that you've done the necessary and requisite work on yourself to be, do, live, create what you are now going to be living, creating, but also onwards. You are prepared for this, in other words, and you are enough. You are enough. You are enough. And it's wonderful to say now because it's true. Whenever you're watching this, it's true. And there's always been, it's like there's been this nagging sense of unease inside of you. I'm not ready for this. I'm not capable. I can't do this. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. And it can masquerade as doubt, but there can also be a little kernel of truth simply because you were in a process of evolving into this space of being ready, of being there. And so when there's that little kernel of truth, that's why it keeps coming back, recurring. The Spirit is saying that from now on, you can step into a space where you can say, I've done my work. I am who I need to be. I can move on. And so you can answer that doubt inside of you and resolve it. And that's going to be the best way for you to stay aligned because you have confidence in what it is that you embody. So you can have confidence in your values, in your intentions, in your thoughts, in your emotions, and you can engage in a way that allows you to align them so that they work with one another in a much more clear way if you're coming at it from confidence. So for example, if you're not doubting your values, if you're not doubting your process, if you're not doubting your experience, if you're not doubting who you are, then you can much more understand things that are a representation of who you are, because you're not your thoughts, you're not your feelings, but your thoughts and your feelings are your experience of who you are, right? So you can engage with that experience from a much more centered space where you have confidence in who you are, what you embody, what you've pursued, what you've done, what you've grown, what you've evolved in yourself, and take it from there. So that was the advice from Spirit. Have confidence in you. Have confidence in your process. Have confidence in your journey. Have confidence in who you have grown and evolved into, because you deserve that confidence. And you certainly are getting it from Spirit, relayed through me. And it's time for you to give it to yourself also. And so with that, we have got Return Spirit. I'm going to look for the booklet and read you the message because it is awesome. I got the booklet and it was hard to find. I literally pulled out all the booklets and then this one was missing. And so, and then I had to go into it. So it's not an easy, immediate thing again, but don't give up. You know, if at first you don't succeed, try and try and try again. Because this is coming. This is the natural outcome of all your efforts from now on, which is beautiful. And so we have Return of Spirit. You have come a long way in your journey. No, it hasn't been easy, but you have made it through. Acknowledge for just a moment the strength and courage that you have discovered within you. See how much you have grown over this time, slowly blossoming into who you are today. This is the card of triumph, heartfelt connection, and mastery. Hold your head high and feel proud of who you are. Your guides and angels are certainly proud of you. Your hard work and determination over this lifetime has brought you here today. This is the light at the end of the tunnel. And I want to say your tunnel, the tunnel of your process that you've been through. And although your journey is far from over, you have come much farther than most. Drawing this card signifies a renewal of the heart, mind, and spirit. Your spiritual connection to Source is stronger now than it has ever been. Trust in it, flow in it, and shine in it. Your beautiful heart is open to both giving and receiving the messages from the heavens. Your time has come and it is now. This is a time of manifesting your highest will. It is a time of truly stepping onto your path with confidence in what you are here to do and how you are to do it. It is a time of hopes, wishes, and dreams coming true. The true greatness of who you are is ready to express itself fully. Now you can experience true empowerment, deep, heartfelt connections with others, and a feeling that all is right in your world. You've done the work, so you deserve it. Where there was a time when you may have questioned whether Spirit was even there, now you won't. This is your own sacred return to Spirit. Love it. So glad I read that too, because that's just perfect confirmation of everything I've been saying, but it also pulls it together. Listen, all of these amazing things that are going to be coming back to you, they are amazing. Appreciate them, value it. But beyond all of that, there is going to be this greater confirmation inside of you that you're going to know what it means to be co-creating with spirit, to be in union with spirit based on the work that you've done. So again, look for it on the outside and events, people, places, things, but also experience it on the inside, because it is your sacred return to yourself. That was beautiful. That was amazing. That was the message. And this is part one. So look for part two next week. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sending you so much love. And as again, the energy work for expansion is going to be in the healing space on Patreon. If you'd like to join, then the information is in the description box. Lots of love. And I will be seeing you around. May you be blessed always and in always. And so it is.